tell me about yourself is a very common interview question, and many times it's the first question that's asked, so it's very important to have a good answer to this. In fact, studies have shown that the interviewer in the first 8 minutes, they make a decision about the candidate they're talking to, and they use the rest of the interview to basically justify that opinion. So once again, it's really important to make a good first impression. The fact of the matter is most people aren't sure where to start with this answer. They're not sure where to go, and they don't know how to finish this answer. So I'm going to give you 3 easy steps to build a tell me about yourself answer. But first, a few thoughts. Our goal is to come up with an answer that is about 1.5 to 2 minutes long. And here's what tell me about yourself is not. It's not a step-by-step chronological recap of your resume. And also, it's not a chance to talk about your personal or family background. It's a chance to talk about who you are as a professional. So to effectively answer the tell me about yourself question, we're going to break this down into 3 segments. We're going to talk about having a summary of who you are as a professional or an academic. Then we're going to add your skills, your accomplishments, your motivations, and then finally we'll talk about what you're looking to do going forward. And by the way, that's the easiest one. So let's take a look at each of these one at a time. So the first part of the tell me about your answer is a summary of who you are as a professional. This is a high-level recap of the positions you've held, the fields you've worked in, the responsibilities that you've had, maybe the duties that you've had. So an example of that could be something like this. I'm a lifelong sales professional. I've been in sales all my life. It's what I'm passionate about. I started in entry-level sales. Eventually, I worked my way into major account sales, and in time, I became a sales manager. In a management position, I have worked in startup environments. I've worked with teams over multiple geographic territories. I've worked with seasoned teams. In my current role, I work in major account sales where I represent our most complex products, selling them to our largest clients. So the second part of the tell me about yourself answer would be just listing what are your unique skills, what are your accomplishments, or what's motivating you. So an example of that could be something like, and I think my skills are, 1, I'm results oriented. I have a history of achieving budget or exceeding. 2, I'm customer focused. I've had a lot of training in consultative selling skills. And 3, I'm a self-starter. I have the ability to work independently with little supervision. So in building your tell me about yourself answer, you've had a summary of who you are as a professional. You've talked about some specific skill sets you bring to the table. The finish is the easiest part. It's really why you're here and what the future holds for you. And the reason you're here is the job at hand. So here's a way to finish off tell me about yourself that will work with pretty much any job that you're applying for. And it can go something like this. You know, I'm really excited to be here today based upon what I know and understand about the position. I think I could be a great fit. I really appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to learning more today. Thank you. So now let's take a look at 3 examples in role play that put all 3 segments together. Here's an example of a response to tell me about yourself for a recent college grad or new to the workforce. So thank you for coming in today. I did have a chance to look at your resume and application, very impressive. But to kick things off today, why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I'm a recent graduate from the University of Minnesota, and I have a degree in mechanical engineering. The reason I chose this field is because even when I was in high school, I had a passion for numbers and problem solving. In school, I worked closely with my guidance counselor, and we decided together that this is really the right field for me. As far as school is concerned, I specifically chose the University of Minnesota because I was interested in being part of a larger community, someplace where I would be exposed to more diverse thought and a bigger group of people. I grew up in a small town, so I wanted to stretch my wings a little bit. I'm proud to say that I did graduate on time with a 3.8 GPA, and I also worked through school, so I paid for quite a lot of school myself. In addition to my schoolwork, I made it a point to stay active in school, particularly in extracurricular activities. I was involved in the academic club that was associated to mechanical engineering, and I made it a point to participate in a lot of volunteer opportunities. School really helped me develop some valuable skills. I think what I bring to the table is I'm results oriented, I'm highly organized, and I'm a motivated self-starter. Overall, I'm really excited to start my career, and I'm excited to learn more about this position. Based on what I know and understand, I think I might be a good fit. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. So notice how the candidate just did a summary of her school experience, why she chose that school, what she accomplished at that school, that she graduated on time. Then she just identified some of her key strengths, and finally she finished off by just telling me how excited she was about this position and she's looking forward to learning more. Here's an example of tell me about yourself that would work for somebody who's in a career change. So I had a chance to look at your resume and application, so thank you for coming in. So if you don't mind kicking things off, why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Certainly. I've spent much of my career working for the Federal Reserve, where I focused in accounting, internal technical support, and external customer service. In the accounting arena, I've specialized in financials preparation, budgeting, policy, and process. As internal technical support, I handled complex application and technical problems, and I mentored and trained other employees. The balance of my experience is in external customer service, developing customer relationships, as well as addressing high-level issue escalations. In addition to my accounting skills, overall, I'm organized, I'm a nimble problem solver. Over the course of my career, I've had a rich background in finance, so I stepped back and looked at all the roles that I've held and the skills that I've developed. And over the years, I realized that I would make an excellent accountant. That's motivated me to make a career change. I'm really excited about this position, and based on what I know and what I've heard from you, I think I could be a good fit. I'm looking forward to learning more. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So notice how the candidate did a quick summary of her career at the Federal Reserve and her experiences there. And then she moved on to specifically highlighting her skills and what's motivating her to make a change. And she finished with just expressing how interested she is in the position and thanking me for her time. Here's an example of a response for tell me about yourself that would work for a seasoned professional. So thank you for coming in today. Appreciate you taking the time. I did have a chance to look at your resume. If you don't mind kicking things off, why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely, I'd love to. First of all, I love marketing. I've been in integrated marketing, branding, and communication for 20 years in global agency and corporate environments. I've had the honor and pleasure to work with different companies from startups, nonprofits, to corporate foundations and Fortune 500s. What I do is drive brand awareness, sales, and brand loyalty. I believe the skills that differentiate me from other candidates is that I'm equal parts analytical and creative. I really love that analytical process, digging into the details, the datas, finding interesting insights and using that to leverage a strategy. I love also the creative process, creating something new that's never been done, looking at a simple solution to a challenge, and using that as finding a way to get customers to act. In terms of leadership, I've held a lot of leadership roles throughout my career. My focus is leading with empathy, clear communication, and an environment of mutual respect. I get a lot of joy out of seeing people grow to their full potential. I'm really excited about this position, and based on what I know, I believe I would be a good fit. I'm looking forward to learning more. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. So notice how the candidate did a summary of her professional career, some of the accomplishments she's had, then she transitioned to talk about specifically the skills she had, and she finished up by simply expressing how interested she is in the position and how excited she is to learn more. Final comments about tell me about yourself. Remember, the goal is to come up with an answer that is about 1.5 to 2 minutes in length. Now here's something that's really important. Don't worry about memorizing it. You're not trying to memorize it word for word. More think about bullet point fashion in your mind. So think about internalizing it. So don't get hung up on the exact words each time. So once you have a standard tell me about yourself answer, then you can work on customizing tell me about yourself based on specific positions you're applying for.